Welcome, people. We here, man. We in the midst of getting out of the midst of the Halloween flow of the environment. October's over. Here we go. By the way, I'm Young Pastry. Let's get the intro right. Little mattress. This is what we do. We do things and we like to say stuff at all times. So watermelon versus pumpkin, man. And we dive right in, man. It's a change of season, shall we say? You know what I'm saying? Um, it's out of October into November, and it felt like the season really jumped around. This, I don't know, man. It's been jumping in the last week. I felt like we went through winter, spring, fall. You know what I'm saying?
The weather's been wild.
Yeah, in days. That's New England shit, man. They say if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. It'll be all different and changed. Um, but yeah, man. We left up out of the spookiness, and we diving into the flow and into the fall season, which seems to be bypassed. It's like you look down the aisle. No, you go and shopping right around the time. You see the Halloween section, and the very next aisle is they don't even wait. Like Halloween's up, and Christmas is right there. Like, damn, can a nigga get a little pilgrim hat in the corner? Like, I know we don't really give a fuck about the pilgrim shit like that no more. But you know what I mean? A turkey, a leaf, a fall, a festive, you know what I'm saying?
A centerpiece, a cornucopia.
Listen, make me go grab my cornucopia. I should have had it for display for you niggas. I got a nice cornucopia with it was given as a gift. The outside of it is casting, like metal, like kind of
Nice.
cast, see-through, and the inside is like, it looks like, I don't know,
a bounty.
Yeah, yarny kind of, nesty looking. All right, we're gonna go twiggy looking, but okay. I have the fruits inside are their little cushions, like little stuffing cushions.
Nice,
shaped like a banana. You know what I mean? So for the centerpiece, for the over there, shit like that. We don't see it. Why? They just jump right to Christmas. And they say the hell with fall and the hell with Thanksgiving. And that time of season and baking pies and such and getting into that flow pre-Christmas. So we're gonna show a little love, man. And what we did is we watched the movie Dutch, starring Ed O'Neill.
Hell yes.
The man, if you know him better as Al Bundy from Married with Children, the G, the God, 4 touchdowns in 1 game, poke eye,
Yeah.
But it was a good holiday movie. You know what I mean? The guy Ed O'Neill trying to get the woo woo. He was trying to impress the woo woo. Going to pick up her badass little kid from private school. Whole big ordeal in the journey of him trying to be in touch with this young badass little nigga on his way to go back to see his mama. So it was one of those good old adventures, man. I'd say. But nonetheless, man, I didn't really tell me, bro. What you? I thought this was a good one, man.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing the movie, and I liked it, man. It was
Oh, it's the first time. Oh man, I used to kill it. I ain't gonna front. I remember watching it. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I said I've seen this multiple times. But
yeah, that was I realized much later in life that my childhood was different from others. Of like, I've never seen any fucking movies, and apparently it just wasn't in my parents' program. I don't know, but I've realized when I got older, because the words "oh my god, you haven't seen that" have been spoken to me way too many times in my life. That was my first time seeing it, and it felt like a movie of, oh man, I feel like this was supposed to be a movie that I should have seen back then. I still enjoyed it. Like it wasn't dated at all for me.
But you could feel the vibe that it would have gave off at a younger, personable age.
Just like a Home Alone type thing, like a plane, which we should watch next, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You know what I'm saying? It like it gave that. However people capture that feeling, and I think that's mastery of art, and of filmmaking and music, to a degree, when somebody can catch a feeling. And that's what I caught. Like, I definitely caught the feeling of the holiday time, and there is that, the most wonderful time of the year. Everybody knows about it. And I think it encompasses more than, just Christmas. There is that entire holiday season And yeah, I got that feeling. It was good.
Yeah, nah, it was a vibe. And it's funny because he's always that was one of the first times I kind of see him in a different role besides Al Bundy, kind of. You know what I'm saying? But in a sense, he kind of was still Al Bundy. You know what I mean? Like similar in certain ways, but different though. He was a little more, you know what I'm saying, more serious.
Yeah.
But he still had like that goofy Al Bundy shit, the faces and shit.
Well, when getting hit with a nut shot, like you said, the faces were there.
Right. That's that Al Bundy shit. You know what I mean? It's like Al jumped out in every fucking face. Every time he got nailed. But it was just one of those good old fashioned, some slapstick. And, I remember now thinking back of watching that as a youth and how much I want to put hands on that little nigga. I really did.
I got the same feeling watching it now. As a 37-year-old man, I wanted to put hands on him.
But I remember, and I same thing I said now. I'm watching him like, God, this little motherfucker, it don't quit. I remember it was just like, he gonna break soon. Oh, he still at his shit. Oh, nigga. Almost like then when he changed, you didn't want him to change. Like, no, man.
Yep.
I would go back to hating you. I won't go back because I felt better that way. Because if you fit that role too damn good, shit like that.
Yeah. So the setup was there was a rich guy that kind of went below his means. And what was she saying her job was? I know she mentioned it really quick.
She was at like
it was a bartender or a bar back or something like that. So
she's like 18 or some shit.
Yeah. So the super rich dude scoops up the bartender, waitress, bar back, whatever it may be.
Vulnerable young girl. Yep.
Has a kid with her, and then kind of leaves her in the whatever that happened. And he still financially supports, but kind of emotionally abuses still, and kind of still has some quote ownership. It's weird.
Yeah, and it was like he had the kid. That's what it was. He left her with like the house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid is not even there like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he left her when he was like, oh, you don't want to lose all your money. You know what I mean? He kind of felt like he held over her head. And she really, when you look at it, she was playing the game with him just to try to get closer to her son. That's why she was at the party. She's trying to, you know what I'm saying? And, she wants to see her son and da-da-da. You know what I mean? Because he stays more with dad. And at that military, he's at a boarding school or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was a situation where the kid believed the dad over the mom he was mad at the mom, you could have made it work. If you did more, you could have made it work. And she always, kind of hit him with that. Oh, when you're older, you'll understand. That type of stuff.
Because dad kind of pitted him against her. You know what I mean? He pitted them against each other. And because he had of the means and like, of course it's learned to this kid, you don't need for nothing. And it was a product of how he was because he was with dad all the time. Mom and, you know what I mean? As was just no mom, anything there. Boarding school and a rich ass father was the result of that little nigga.
And I think it does speak to, because I feel like it translates into real life where the child of somebody rich, there's a really good chance that they're just going to be a fucking asshole because they've never been through anything. They don't have any life experiences. They're always just been handed everything. And even if not, they've just never had, there's never been a bottom for them to even see. You know what I mean? Like even if they think like, oh man, I'm not getting everything I want. There's no, oh, hey, you could be homeless. You could be, in a really bad situation.
My dad won't give me those new $400 Jordans. I'll just go cry about it in our homemade movie theater.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a real struggle of being said no. No is like no, and then you go retreat to your fucking mansion of a room with nothing but games and all kinds of shit. Bigger than my first apartment, your fucking bedroom probably is. You know what I mean? And it's like, they don't. A no is not understandable. And it goes into that because it like I guess if I was wealthy, I feel like I would be getting my kids the biggest. I get my daughter like and I feel like it's almost because the adult is more at certain ages until the kid's older and wants. You know what I'm saying? But it starts with you over compensating at a younger age for them, and it gets them used to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't need that big fucking kitchen set that's the size of the whole room, and they're like just started walking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, she'll just play with the fucking plastic carrots all day, and it'll be great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's like
I
like
think
doing too much.
people also they don't understand of what kids aren't going to remember. Like I remember in my family, like I remember my dad when my brother's kids were super young, like 2. He was like, well, I don't want to give them presents like with everyone else because I want them to know what presents are from me. And I remember trying to explain of like, they don't know shit. Like they're not going to remember
They're just
tomorrow.
Right.
Like
it's gonna be a gift.
Literally, these gifts that you got them are going to be probably thrown away in 2 weeks. Like nothing of at this point, 0 matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like none of this shit matters.
Gonna end
But
up getting
because
fucking
people are
stepped on or
experiencing
broken.
it for the first time, they think like every moment is precious when certain of them
Right.
just aren't. You know?
Right. It's like building that connection of appreciation, and I want you to know it's for me, so we can now click and you can remember this space here gave you that gift there. You know what I mean? You know, and it's just some people get into that. You know, there is a natural joy sometimes that people get into. Just some people get real hyped up. There's people just like that. They get hyped up of watching someone open something that they hope they really like that they got them. You know what I'm saying? It's like I hope they, you know what I mean? Like I have like I got family members like that. Nephews like they that sit around and bop around and see let's see if you like it. Oh, you like it? You like it? They're just genuinely excited. You know what I mean? So I mean. I guess I get that, but you said not everyone's got to be the clutch shot. You know what I mean? We can't all push Byron Russell and shit. That I mean, hit the clutch shot against Utah in the finals.
I have no clue what that means.
That was a push. No, remember that? I don't know. You remember that? Remember the Last Dance? The controversial one of his last one.
Oh, the push off.
And he pushed him, and he you know what I mean? Byron Russell was that guy's name, by the way.
Byron.
Yeah, Byron. So shout out to his push off. I mean. His loss. So when Mike's involved, it's nothing.
True, but yeah, this movie was dope. Like you said, wanting to beat the shit out of a kid and it's funny too how life lines up. How I was telling you the other day about how I felt, especially about my job situation. Like looking back at the past couple of months when I was stressed out, I do need to let go and just let life kind of take me down the river sometimes instead of me like trying to control everything.
Right.
But it's funny how sometimes life lines up of I wanted to beat the shit out of a kid the other day because I work for a delivery company and I'm delivering. I'm driving down the street and I got this fucking 10-year-old kid on his bike deciding to play chicken with my delivery van. And to the point where I'm like, so now I'm slowing down. Now I'm going 5 miles an hour. Now I'm going 2 miles an hour. Now I stopped. And
I'm at work. It's different if you're even personal. Like you might want to while out. You're like, I'm at work. I got to kind of be different a little
personal,
bit.
I probably would have gotten out of the car and like, at least because listen, do whatever you want. But like, I could push the kid over. Like I could I could stab his fucking tire out. I could do something. But like, then like, So the kid's playing, like I said, chicken with my fucking car. And once again, I'm only going 5 miles an hour because you're just delivering. So you're going slow. You're going house to house. And then like, I finally stop and he goes around and I beeped hard at the last second. And he did the little like, you know what I mean? So like I got him on that, but I was not satisfied. But I say that to say, so I was feeling when we went into the movie of like, ooh, now I got a little personal. Yes, I relate to that very well. Of
that kid in that movie turned into that facial, the kid on that bike 2.2.
and I like that Al, because dog, I'm about fairness nowadays. Like I like that Al Bundy was like, no, you can get hit, you can get fucked up, you can get tied to a golf bag or to a golf stick and dragged out of here. I will leave you on the side of the road. I would I like the hard love, you know.
And that was that different Al. I was like, okay, he was just like, nah, I'm and it was like, I remember first watching it, like, he ain't gonna leave him. And then when I saw him in the hotel, I was like, oh shit, he told him about 50 miles. He really left his little ass.
Hell yeah.
All right, Mr. Brown Belt, you got he said you're a brown belt, you got this.
Exactly.
I mean, listen, Al was Ed O'Neill, man. Al Bundy, we like to call him Dutch, the main guy in here with the movie.
I know. I mean, no disrespect, but I'm always gonna call him Al. It's just,
it's just a stamp. He'll never get rid of that. But Dutch in this movie here, I mean, he just had that kind of like like you said, that very likable shit about him. You know what I mean? Where he was
Mhm.
kind of, he was sensible with things. You know what I mean? He had that heart. He was caring, but then he had that like, hey, listen, I ain't gonna play with no shit either, man. You know what I mean? And he get his ass beat and get back up again. You know what I'm saying? Like, kid, all right, you got a lucky shot on me. I thought you take a shot and fucking knocked him out.
Yeah. The definition of working class,
Right,
So
right. I mean, he
to
played a
break it.
fucking harmonica on a Butterfinger, for Christ's sake. Sorry, all right. Which was an
Hell
epic
yes.
scene for me. That was, I
Hell
fucking
yes.
loved that. Like,
I enjoy.
on a Butterfinger. Oh, I love
Because
it. Didn't hit this shit.
you could tell he was just feeling it. And those are the type of moments that I like to connect to, of like, you could tell they're just feeling it. They're having a good time. They're geeking out. And those are like the small moments that I feel a lot of people would look past. But like you said, you appreciate it. I appreciate those little like we're talking in the K-pop reactions. When you see the people like, when they feel it, you're just like,
Right.
oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Those are the
it's
parts
a
I like
part
the
of the
most.
soul that jumps out through the
Yes.
expression. You know what I mean? It evokes a certain way that just pulls you onto their riverboat. Like, I'm coming. I'm coming. Where are we going? I will follow you to the cliff, nigga.
So in the movie, the little kid Ethan, right? His name Ethan, I believe.
Doyle.
Oh, the Doyle. Maybe his real name actor, because
Oh,
I was looking up the actor.
okay.
But no,
and then the character was Doyle.
Yeah. You're right. I was talking about the character. Doyle. So how we were saying with the connection,
it's a terrible name, by the way. But
oh yeah, it's a name that should get you hit. But
it should, right?
how we were saying, Doyle likes his father more than his mother and all that stuff, and the father promises, yeah, man, I'm gonna be there for Thanksgiving, all that. I'm gonna take you. We're gonna do this, and then he cancels without telling the kid and leaves it up to the mom to tell Doyle,
yeah,
hey, man, Dad's not coming. And he believes the dad. No, Dad told me, so he's gonna be doing it. So long story short, Dutch, who is played by Ed O'Neill, just says, hey man, I'll go up and get the kid. What better way is there to bond than being in a car for a couple of days? And I always end up with a friend on the other side of it,
Right.
And
right. The way he explained it was pretty dope. You know what I mean? It's how you can convince that to happen?
Exactly. So so Dutch rides up to the to the private school thing. And the funny part, I'm sorry, but before that, let me go back, because there's a quote that I missed in the beginning scene of the party where they're at, and the asshole that she had the kid with, says a couple of choice things, and then Ed O'Neill, Dutch, says to him, he says, you hurt her, I'll hit you so hard that your dog will bleed. That was a dope line.
That was a line.
That was a dope line.
Like, all right.
That was him. Like, what do you say back to that besides like, I understand, sir. Okay.
Right. All right. I'll have you arrested, pal. Other than that, it's the only two you got. Is like, you get it or you're trying to press charges. I'll sue if you do.
And then another line that I don't want to skip past, when the mom decides to call Doyle at the school, the kid that was receiving the calls, I fuck with him, man. I thought he was a good part of the movie too.
He was great.
When
he was great.
He does the thing where he opens his door, and then Doyle's like, they have an argument about knocking and what is knocking, and the door was open versus locked. But then the kid pauses and he goes, do you want to take the call, shithead? Like, and shithead, shithead is a great phrase, word, whatever.
At this point, he's being too nice. It's like, you want to take the call, not shithead. I don't need to know that, Then until you tell me, and it's like, he was just very entitled young kid. He felt very, he wanted to talk down to any and everybody, and he was above. And you know who my daddy is type of kid. You know what I mean? That rich kind of stereotypical thing that I'm sure does exist. I'm not around it. I feel like I peeked at it through a window. You know what I'm saying? Maybe out in public one time, like, you could tell what that's like behind closed doors from how they act in public. You know what I'm saying? But never kind of been like close friends with somebody that had well-to-do parents, and they were just like fucking assholes at all time. But I'm sure there was somebody that had parents at least around the way that had a little bit more money maybe than the rest. And they had a sort of assholism to them because they knew that their status
it gets
amongst
passed
their neighborhood,
down.
right? You know what I mean? It's like I know my status in my neighborhood is better than them, so I'm like the kingpin in the block. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're rich, and who's got a bigger mansion on the street?
Yep.
Did you see what the McKinseys got at the end of the
Exactly. Yeah, if you're wealthy, it's got to be so tough to raise a good kid. I will say too, it's not as easy as some people would expect, because certain part
some
of
things you can't get away from.
yeah, exactly. Like that certain privileges, even if you're not quote giving your kids everything, just what they're allowed to live in and how they're it's just
and what they're
it's tough,
exposed
man.
to. It's
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like you can't go to the fucking like if your dad's LeBron James, how are you doing anything normal in public? Or
exactly.
you can't go with dad to the park. You know what I'm saying? Dad
Yeah.
can't just go to the fucking park and just push on a swing with nobody bother without
Yep.
everybody running up on him and taking pictures and signing autographs. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah, yeah.
different kind of world they have to create for them, man.
Yep.
And
It's like Tom Hanks' kid, one of his kids is a rapper. You
shit.
just can't be, dog. You just can't be. Like, I'm sorry,
Right.
regardless if you are the next Jay-Z, the next Nas, the next Offset, whoever the fuck the popular people are now.
Well, I mean, nowadays it's different now. But my whole thing is like, to me, is like, I think if the kind of rapper he would have been different. You know, he came hardcore, and I think that's what really kind of turned down. Like, oh, you talking thug? Like, if you would have came with some kind of like, positive, like common kind of rap, or you like, there's an avenue for that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like this guy popping tags. What's his name? The one that passed away too. The
Pop
white
Smoke?
kid. No, the white kid.
Right.
Mac Miller.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know what I mean? It's like he kind of worked in a way where he wasn't too. He was kind of cool. He had a pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel
His
like
shit was
I feel
nice
like
and
Tom.
friendly rap.
Right. I think Tom Hanks' son. He went real hardcore. He was talking about
Yep.
hanging with like thugs in L.A. and shit. Like, yo, come on, man. You're Tom Hanks' son, man. He been making
Exactly.
money
Yeah,
since the
yeah.
'80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yep. Yeah, that's it. It's tough to outlive the father, the sins of the father. Like, imagine Michael Jordan's kids have to be like, yeah, I'm never touching a basketball ever. Like
Yeah.
I would just not even
But they
go
did,
for
and
it.
they didn't get. They got through college. Nobody got to the
Yeah.
pros.
Damn.
Yeah, yep. Markel. I think two of them. One of them went to. I think Marquette. I think is the college he went to.
Word.
But it was a couple of the Jordan cats, Jordan boys. They played college. They got to college, and then that was. That's too much of a shadow, man. Like when your dad's
Yeah.
that epic at that sport, man. Like you said, pick
Yep.
up a baseball bat. You know what I mean? He sucked at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I got you in this pop. You shining now. Got
Hmm.
you here.
So I for as much as like I would shit on rich kids, like you also do understand at a particular point it isn't their fault. But then too, I go back to regardless of how you see your parents teach people, you don't have to be like that. So the kid, because like we've spoken about before, what's right and wrong. You know what you have to do. It's just up to you if you're going to do it or not. So when the kid is being an asshole of like the only reason you're going to school here is because your father's an employee, like that
Right,
comes from
yeah.
you. Like perhaps that was
Right.
learned from your father, but you still know, like, yeah, that's not the way to fucking act towards people,
Right.
So
Right. You got to know that there's consequences to actually speaking like that to people. Well, I mean,
yeah,
he had his little brown belt. He thought he was shit, but still, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Somebody might have a black belt and beat that ass. You know what
But
I'm saying? Like,
coming all the way back to when he fucking is practicing whatever type of martial arts he was doing
taekwondo
by
is, yeah.
himself in the fucking gymnasium, and he's doing all his moves, and then once again that kid comes back and says, hey, my family wants to know if you want to join us for Thanksgiving since you're not going to be going to your father's, and he turns him down and all that. But then when he just starts throwing punches into the air like a maniac, just like getting so mad. That shit was my favorite part. When he
Yeah,
just gets so
right. That's funny. But in all due fairness, the kid played a good role at the role he was supposed to play.
Hell yeah, he's a good
I give him
actor.
that. Yeah, that kid, he did a hell of a job at playing that kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, nigga, you was selling it. Like, I ain't never really want to punch a little kid in the face that bad.
Exactly.
It's
That's how
like,
you know
watch.
they did a good job, when you're like, oh, I really feel something. Like I'm actually angry.
I hate him. Then we did that. Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I know I'm jumping too far, but no, it was
Go for it.
so he gets down there to go. Now Ed O'Neill, Dutch, shows up at the school. You know what I mean? After the kid turns down the FU and to the
the other
employee's
invites.
son.
Yep,
The employee's
exactly.
son.
Employee's child.
You know what I mean? But he hit him hard though in the stairwell. Let's not forget that one. He's like, at least I have a father. It's like, oh, that shit hurt. That was a stinger going down. All that
was
bullshit.
The haymaker, dog. That was the haymaker.
And he saw it in his eyes, like, oh, you got me. You got me.
Yeah, I felt that one. Okay.
Right. So what was crazy is I don't remember this part. Did the mom tell him that he was coming to get him or no?
I felt like he didn't know. Well, he didn't know because he fought him. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but well, he probably because he didn't know who he was. But and then when he said, "What are you doing? You know who I am? Your mom's, your mom. I know she told you. I think he said that to him.
I don't know. It was. I think it was left up to interpretation, to be honest.
Right.
With you, because it kind of seemed like
on it.
Because remember, she booked him a ticket, a plane flight, and she was like, I don't think he's going to use it. I don't know if he's going to use it. And then he was like, I'll just go up and get him. So, yeah, I feel like
because it's
like he wasn't told.
Yeah, because almost in a sense, like then it would made it. I almost felt like it should have been like almost that, and at least he knew he was coming, but still denied it. Almost, you know what I mean? Because then it got weird. Like, how do I know this guy's really here to pick me up? How do I know? He didn't talk to mom. He fucking kidnapped him, threw him in the truck. I mean, he was saying stuff about her name. You know what I mean? He kind of knew, but it still was. It been weird as a kid that age. I'm thinking no matter if I'm an asshole or not, I'm thinking something's not right.
I agree. Yeah.
But that's going deeper down a rabbit hole of probably what it was. Like you said, I don't think they really interpreted it too much.
And I think it was more of a innocent time back then of people weren't necessarily worried about kidnappings, but I'm sure it still happened. I'm sure it was still real. So
right. No, it happened, but not on that. I mean, people hitchhiked in the fucking 70s like it was nobody's business. A lot of missing people back then, though. It was, people got away with shit more. You know what I'm saying? Especially,
that was like open market of
long roads.
We're not paying attention.
Oh, look at this fucking young lady hitchhiking in the middle of fucking Texas somewhere where nobody's around. You ran it. You picked the sick motherfucker, picked you up. Okay, nobody's gonna see you again. So I mean, all right. Well, we don't know if he, no, we're not. But I'm gonna take it. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. But anyways, so he's in his room ahead of him, looking for him. Doyle, whatever, looking around in his room, and does the thing that motherfuckers, do. Go be nosy, snoop through the nigga shit. So he starts snooping, looking around, looking at shit. He didn't dig too deep, topical searching. He's
he wasn't in drawers.
We call that a surface search. You know what I mean? You just search on the surface a little bit. You know what I mean? Scatter shit, move around, and then little Doyle comes in and sees him, and automatically just goes to town on the nigga.
No, but you're skipping the big part. Remember, he sees him from the back first, and he goes, "Dad."
He goes, "Dad." That's right. That
was the
Dad.
shot in the heart.
Like, Dad, and then he turns around and there's this guy, and he's like, "Oh, stranger danger," and went in straight attack mode, which I give it to him because the nigga had some skills of what was going on in the presence of mind. Macaulay Culkin a little taller.
Yep.
Shit. So I mean, he goes to town on him, nut shot. Then he pulls out a fucking big ass BB gun. You know what I mean? Airsoft joint.
I felt like it had to be a pellet gun or something because there was always the sound of after it was a shot, like a chamber fell on the ground, right?
Yeah, they did that strangely for some reason.
Yeah,
but it was a pellet gun, but they just did that noise, but it was weird. Like,
right?
Where's there a
spent shell?
Speaker? Maybe there's a speaker on it to give it that sound.
Right.
But so he hit him a couple rounds, one to the keister.
Hit him in the nose, I think.
Clocked
him in the nostril.
He might have got him ass shot. I forgot. Yo, it broke it. I mean, I think he broke his nose. Look, he snapped it back. He's like, "Oh, you know who I am?" Like, "Oh, you're gonna pretend you didn't just fucking snap that back out."
Hey, he's a working man.
Yeah, he's a working man. It's gonna take a lot tougher than you, kid. So then he's trying to convince the kid in the room, "Hey, He's like, "No, I'm not going nowhere." And
does security know you're on site or on campus?
Right. Security know you're on campus. He's like, this guy, answer me. Like that. When he was saying shit like that, I was like, "Oh, little nigga."
Yeah.
Like just to think of a little kid talking to you. I said, "Answer me." Hold on, let me talk to the backhand. Pop.
Exactly.
But so now he was trying to reason with him, after him assaulting him, and now he's talking to him. And the kid denies to go right after many attempts.
Yep.
Tell him you're going. And then that's when he fucking wrapped him up.
Like a pig at a Hawaiian feast, you know what I'm saying? He just
straight pig on the spit status,
yep.
on a hockey stick, gagged and dragged, which is very interesting because they made it very desolate there and isolated where there was nobody around. This nigga's outside broad daylight with a fucking kid wrapped up on the damn porch of a college, of a boarding school that almost seemed like that kid was the only one there.
Well, the only reason to me it kind of made sense and they got away with it is because you got to think everyone was probably home for the holiday. You know what I mean? Right. It was a couple of days before Thanksgiving, so right. I get that. People they leave during that week. Oh yeah, security, like you said, yeah,
security. Know they was there. Security know he was there. Security.
Mm-hmm. But there also was a funny ass line when he said, when Dutch had him there holding him by the hockey stick, and he said something like, it was like something, so what do you like to do? And he's like, oh, you just like to squirm and make noises?
Squirm and grumble or some sort.
Yeah. It was like,
squirm and grunt. You like to squirm and grunt?
Like, yeah, me too. You know what I mean? And I wonder, I was like, was that a little bit of a sexual? Could that have been taken? Like, is that that's pretty much sex? What you're saying?
Right.
And it was.
What do you say? Right. That's great. I didn't think of that.
I didn't know if it was that or if it was just a topical joke of like, oh yeah, that's what you're doing. So that's what. But it was. That was funny though.
That was a good one. Yeah, man, me too.
Yep.
And then so now he's trying to fucking talk to this kid, and just the whole ride, the kid is just, it's just he's an asshole. He's trying to break him down as a man and who he is, and your mother. He's telling what his mother and father is. And it was crazy because you got to give it to him. They even had that much patience to be insulted, like, you know what I mean? Because it takes a lot. I'm like sitting there like I don't think I can sit there with like little niggas going in on me like that.
Yeah.
It's like I get it. I love her and all, but yeah, listen. If I gotta deal with this, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Mm-hmm. You gotta keep it honest. I don't know if we're gonna make it, boo, because this little nigga right here, I'm already 5 minutes. I'm ready to go in.
Yeah. He needs to be taught a lesson, but I think that was his persistence. Certain people have that, persistence, and certain people have that patience of everything that Dutch was saying in the car was just knowledge. It was gems. He just kept dropping lessons of like breaking down. Oh, you think because I work I'm bad, and even and I like back in the day where they had said a little bit of a harsher things of like you don't you're not better than anybody else just because of what crotch you were pulled out of. And it's like, whoa, those are words where I'm like, yes, they used to talk like that back in the day. I like that,
Right. It's true. You know what I'm saying? He's like, here's lines for you, kid. And it's like, he, it's almost like he had that kind of person where, there's some people that are just good with bad kids. You know what I'm saying? Good with troubled kids, we're going to say, kids that have more troubles. Those people are, and that's what the people I think there sometimes energy is shifted, real good ones, towards that counseling, being in these programs, inner city youth programs, and because that's their nature is geared. So because you got to have patience to a little badass dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like not everybody can. If you're gonna fall off the handle quick, like he got me. I did it. I choked him. My bad.
That's that. You got to be unaffected, and you have to show. And much easier said than done. Like you said, it's a specific person that can do that. But you kind of have to show that, hey, all that bullshit that you do does not work on me, and that's once you kind of show a kid that, hey, all those little tactics and all those fucking savior moments that you do don't work on me. Now we got to get into something real. I think those are the, blessed people that can do that and break through to a kid of like, well, your bullshit doesn't work. Now let's get to work, And that's what Dutch was doing in that, he was kind of like, all that shit you're talking, all that stuff. Yeah. It really
it's calling shit. It's like, you're just huffing and puffing, kid. You're not doing nothing. You're not, you don't know half the shit you think you know.
Exactly.
Because this kid was a know-it-all.
What was the first stop? What was it? Fireworks?
The first stop was, he's gigging with him in the car, trying to get him going, and they stopped for gas, and that's when he got the fireworks.
Yep, and that's why I like the because I still believe I have some of that in me. How we were talking the other day of like, damn man, I'm 37, but I don't feel it at all. I still feel young, and what struck me was the part where you couldn't hear what he said, but he only mouthed it when Ed O'Neill got out. When Dutch was looking at Doyle in the car, and he's just like, he mouthed, "They got fireworks." You know what I'm saying? And you started getting you started getting this in him. I'm just like, "They got fireworks," and
yeah, right. Kids
and
like,
I like that part of like it rounded out the character. It added that like still the childlike wonder of. Man, yes, you should still like nobody should be at the point ever in their life where you're not excited to go light off a fucking firework. Like nobody should be above and over that. It was like, oh, fireworks,
and especially
whatever.
the baddest of baddest kids. You know, he gonna enjoy that shit. You know, be light one, let him light one. The niggas happy as shit. Just make sure you tell him you don't throw it at anybody. Right? Yeah, which you probably do anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But nah, first stop was the fireworks. You know, he said, we'll pull up there. And he's like, you know, so now he's trying to tell the kid, he's like, oh, and do what? And where? Here? He's like, no, we'll go up the road a bit, you know. Yeah.
I remember he was like, fireworks are illegal in wherever they lived. And he's like, yeah, but whether say they lived in Mississippi. He's like, fireworks are illegal in Mississippi. He's like, yeah, but we're in wherever they were. And he's like, so we just go up the road a little bit and knock it out, you know?
Right. Okay, come on, don't be a spoil. I'm trying, you know, we're doing some edgy shit right now. You know what I mean? That's that part of that bond. And like, listen, like you said, he was saying that, look, hey, I'm going too far, but the dope line was, you know, like, I'm gonna be a friend, kid. I'm gonna be your father.
Exactly.
Let's get this right. This is what a friend would do. Let's go shoot some fucking fireworks off the road, pal.
So they bought fireworks and he bought the little nudie playing cards too.
Yeah, those. Yeah. And he's telling him got fireworks and he's fucking, and he goes, yeah, I got some, you know, some real risque playing cards, or however he worded it.
Yeah.
And then he's doing them, he's shuffling around, he's doing them, you know, cutting them and everything, and he's doing them like a fucking magic trick. And he, you know, he holds the deck up and he's rubbing his hand on the top to pull up a middle card that's now facing, you know, the face card up, and it's a female, and it's starting. And I like how he does it. He pulls it up just enough, just when it's about to get to her breast, and his eyes kind of got big a little bit.
Yep.
Then he put it back down and shit. You know, almost like you saw the eyes, like, I got you there. Come on, there's certain things, like he's like, there's certain things, I don't care how bad you are, you ain't gonna resist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got you, little dude.
You're gonna enjoy a titty no matter what. Like you can try to, you know. Yeah.
And a lot of that is too is just him probably being a badass kid himself, and had to learn, so now he can teach it. Look, I know where you at, motherfucker.
Exactly. So he went. They parked down the road. He starts setting off the fireworks and shit. And you know, of course, Doyle wants to stay in the car the whole time and not have any fun. Which that was another.
He didn't want to see it. That was good.
Yeah. They did really good character development where you're just like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're so, you know, spoiled and mad that you don't like fireworks, shit like that. But also to speak to the time when the movie was made, I like the stuff where like Ed O'Neill has the Roman candle and he's lighting it off from every direction, pretending it's his dick, doing all that other stuff. And I'm like, man, and it only just made me think where I'm like, wow, they do that now. Oh my God, he pretended it was a penis in front of a minor, and you know, where I'm like, I just like back in the day when we could just, hey, it's just a joke.
Movie.
It's just a joke. Yeah, right. And that movie's probably maybe that movie's rated PG-13. Maybe, you know,
right, because of the cussing.
Yeah. But you know, it's nowadays it'd be R, and because you know there was at some point later in the movie there was a titty showed on a playing card and whatever, but.
Right.
It made me think like, wow, I like how relaxed we were back in the day but it still fucks with me now where I have in my head of like, ooh, that wouldn't be okay now, even though it's perfectly fine with me. I have no problem with it, but I hate that now I'm programmed to think like, ooh, that wouldn't be okay now. That wouldn't be okay.
Right.
I'm like,
It's because once you're from a certain cloth, it's kind of hard to look at a different fabric. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can't fabric peek over there. I don't know what that is, nigga. What is that? It's fucking Egyptian cotton. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is fine silky shit, nigga. You know, but nah, it's that thing, man. You know, you're used to it, and you know, and they come up, and you know, they almost feel offended. So it almost goes in layers, because then it's like, in a bad sense, the guy who's just been fucking, you know, a racist kind of dude this whole time is like, well, that's kind of what I'm used to. You guys stay over there, you know. It's like, it's a sad truth that you're so used to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, the sad truth.
You know what I mean? It's the sad truthy for the youthies. But you know, everybody gets locked in their own little bubs.
Yep.
So now he's lighting off the fireworks there, right? And the kids, and it was good how they made him where it's like certain ones he couldn't resist. You know what I mean? Like You know what I mean? It's like, don't be mad, nigga, be mad. The nigga was fighting his being madness to fucking really wanting to look at fireworks because he really did. And they caught that imagery pretty good with him. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
He did good with like I said, he did a really good job of being that character. His facial expressions shot out a lot, and what he, how he was kind of engaging and staying in the role and trying to break the role and then coming back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was fire. Fire right there. So then he's lighting them off, and then he got to the one that was spinning on the spinner, that wheelie shit that flew off and kind of came at the nigga a little bit. And that's what Lil, of course, that's what he going. You can't help it. Come on, Lil G. He gonna have to laugh there. Of course, the niggas get chased, so he giggled a little bit. Of course, because now it's coming at this nigga. He's hating on right now, so he feels twice as good. And then they fucking end up going in the bag of fireworks. Just miraculously, they just coincidence end up in that bag. And shit just starts going off.
Yep. But real quick, Dutch runs over and he puts his coat over the bag of fireworks.
Yes, he threw his coat over the fireworks because he thought because the bag was smoking and shit was going off. And then it's going off and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Then we get to the finale portion, really, where like the fireworks all go off. But one of the funniest parts too for me, when the fireworks were going off like crazy at the end, when he didn't want them to. Then Dutch runs over to the car and tries the back door. Then he tries Doyle's door, which was the funniest shit to me because I'm like, he hasn't been outside the entire time. Why are you gonna even try to open that door like that? That shit really made me laugh. Like it's automatic.
It wasn't it wasn't an automatic lock system back then.
Yeah. I was like, why are you even trying his door? Like, what's gonna happen there? But that shit was funny as hell.
He takes cover and shit, and then he grabs his coat back and throws it on while it's fucking smoking with feathers flying out. Which was crazy unrealistic, but it was cool. Yep. It was a cool.
That was
visual.
A nice slapstick moment.
Yeah, you throw your little cartoon moment on it with the fucking feathers. He's sitting in the car and he's all like, once again, just calm as fucking cool as a cucumber, as they say. Yeah. And his fucking feathers flying around. He's like, hey, all right, that was fun, huh? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. And that right there was when homie jumped out the car and said, F this? Or was it down the road a little bit?
They were driving. No, it was down the road because now they're driving, and then he starts fucking with the radio.
Ah, yeah,
that's what happened next. It was the radio. So now they're driving, and the kid turns the heat on. And he turned the heat on. So now he's, hey, listen, I know what it is. Don't go touch the shit in my car. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're a guest in my car. So the kid turns the heat on. So he looks at him, and he puts his window down. And then he looks back at him. So then,
he's messing with his seat and shit.
Right. But then he's going back and forth. So then he's like, he puts his window up now and turns the heat on. And then he's fucking with the radio. They're going back and forth, fucks with his seat. And then that's when he said, you mind if I smoke? Lit the fucking cigar. You know what I'm saying? And I think, how did kid get it? He got it.
It was in the ashtray.
Oh, yeah. He took it out the ashtray and fucking threw it on his lap.
Yep.
So now he's fucking burning on lap, and that's when he fucking swerved.
Swerving in the coupe.
Almost killed him because he's fucking flying.
Yep.
That's when he kicked him out of the car.
Yeah. What was the kid throwing at the car though? That's what I couldn't understand.
Chunks of chunks of fucking like mud or shit.
Yeah.
Rock, mud and rocks. I thought it was snow at first, but it was like came up brown and
something.
Shit.
Yeah, something different. But that was, I thought, a great teaching moment when he's just like, "Yo, I'm gonna leave you," and you could tell the kid was so spoiled that he was like,
"No, you're not."
No, exactly. It was just like, "No, it's not gonna happen." Blah blah blah.
You want like, my mother? Well, you would never. My mother would never be with a man that would do that. You know what I mean? Type. He had that vibe. Well, you won't because my mom. He had that ace. Moms was involved.
Yep.
And he was an asshole to her. But he knew that this guy was obviously cared about her to come all the way out to do this shit. So he's like, he thought he had the trump card on him. Like, yeah, you would never leave me, motherfucker. Yeah, whatever.
And you could tell that was kind of a pattern in the movie, how Doyle said to even his boss's secretary, "You're not going to give me my father's number. Wait till he finds out about this. You're going to be fired." It was always the wait till I tell fill in the blank. You're going to fill in the blank.
Dad. It's usually always dad.
Yeah.
Wait till my father or mom's wait till my mother.
Yep.
So I mean, not for nothing. The nigga said, I could have swore he said 50 miles. Bro,
he did. Yeah.
That was kind of a really, like, I felt like
They should have said 15. Should have said 15.
Right. 15 would have been a proper number. Or even if it was 50 and he at least went 30 miles and parked and waited for the nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Made it to the whole 50. Like, this nigga went back to the hotel and laid up. But, he was nervous because he kept looking out the window. He knew, you know what I mean? Pacing because he knows, like, shit, I might have to go back out. I might have to go back. Because not for nothing, that was a gutsy fucking move. Something happened to that kid out there fucking. He's still a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, even the shot that they showed of him, 18-wheelers whizzing by him while he's stumbling in the snow.
Right. Dangerous being on the side of the road and in the whole kidnapping. I just think that if that story ever comes out at a fucking dinner party one day, you should probably fucking leave. You did what with my kid?
Right. But hey, your kid's not a little asshole anymore.
It would be a well thank you, but one of those freak out moments, like,
of course,
what if could happen? You know what I'm saying? The what if gun comes out. What if? You know what I'm saying?
The machine. What if?
You know what I mean? It's like the scenario terror. Scenario. Oh God. He's fine. I know there's a whole bunch of ways you can kill somebody, but when they're looking at you and they're there, they made it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was a 50-mile hike. And I don't think he got any fucking no hitchhikes. He just walked the shit, I believe.
Yeah. It seemed like he just trooped it. Troop dog.
Shows up to these fucking the conditions on that fucking motel were fucking just ridiculously crazy looking. It was like little 2 apartments attached to each other, like huts or something. You know what I mean? It's
like their own little cottages type stuff.
Like small cottages, right, attached to each other, one little cottage with 2, another one with 2, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that was a weird kind of, I don't think I've ever seen one around these parts.
No,
with that setup. Yeah, that's a different state, definitely.
Yep.
Region even. But so now he gets there, he's fucking laid on that bed with his feet up because he sees them coming. And he's like, might be closing the door.
They did a good job of making the kid up too, because like he looked like he had been walking out in the snow for a long ass time. I always wonder how they do shit like that. Do they make him stand in a freezer for 10 minutes and then come out and but
like do that, get real cold, so they sell the shit. Put a little makeup on there to get the rosies.
Yeah,
what I mean? Put a little glossy shit on them for the spray them up. And his
right.
sweat is like fucking, his sweat came out of a water bottle.
Because he definitely looked like he looked the part really, really good. Like he looked like he was really fucking cold, man.
Right.
That was dope.
So then the kid's all pissed off and he's talking shit to him with this and that. And he goes, where's my bag? He goes, left it in the car. You know what I mean? Tell him get the keys and go ahead and get it out.
But he said because he was like, I figured. I mean, you weren't gonna make it, so I was like, why bring your bag in? That was that was a shot.
That was another little fucking sting. That was. That's what really pissed him off.
Yep.
So then he grabs the keys. The keys over there to go fucking, get his thing out the car, and he's laying there, and almost like you almost feel that was gonna happen, just how they said that.
Yeah.
So you like cue it, wait for it.
Sure
enough, fires the car up. He runs out there. The kid's fucking backing out with the joint, driving like he barely can see over the fucking steering wheel.
Yep.
He's trying to move this thing. And then the move he did with the car after that was fucking, that was a shithead move.
For real.
So he parks it in the middle of the fucking, like a busy highway road and just leaves it there on a fucking, now the conditions that we forgot to even, I don't know if we mentioned that, but the conditions were terrible. Snowing out. It's fucking icy snow everywhere. It's that time of year that it happens in November. We might get one in a couple weeks.
But even that was a throwback to a different time where I'm like, wow, it's the holiday times and there's a lot of snow on the ground. To where it was like November fucking 12th and it was 72 degrees out the other day. Like I wore shorts for all my deliveries. Where I'm like, that's another where I look back and I'm like, oh man, things have changed, back then it was like, around the end of November, of course, there'll be snow on the ground. There'll be all this, it'll be cold. And
a couple of years ago, it snowed on Halloween.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
like you said, though, that was the setup where it was, winter wonderland type situation. The kid parks the car in the middle of the road.
And then,
18-wheeler.
Right. 18-wheeler takes it out. But at this point, he's running out there thinking the kid's still in the car.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So he's running, and the car gets fucking flipped and wrecked down an embankment. He fucking runs down there, looking for the kid, and the kid's at the top of the hill. And says, "Now we're even." He's like, "It's saying we're even. Now we're even." He says, and like, so he basically intentionally left that motherfucker's car to get fucking nailed by that big 18-wheeler.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, woof, nigga.
You still are a little asshole, and we got some fucking things to work on.
Right. And then, so then he had more key points. Now he's spazzing on him in the hotel room because now what happened was the cops came and the truck driver lied about what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he lied for the kid, and because Dutch, Al Bundy, paid him, he gave him some money. He was like, "Hey, thanks for going with that story."
Yep.
He gave him some money, said, this for, whatever, it's your family,
a truck,
holiday,
to fix
truck
whatever.
and anything. He said, "Is it a truck? And if it costs more than that, here's my card." So It's like he was an everyday worker, but he had like his own business. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was a blue collar, like small business kind of dude. So, he had some pull, you know what I mean? Shit, he was sitting with almost $300 in his wallet at one point.
Yeah. And he was I felt like that was also showing the right thing to do. I thought there were some great life lessons in that they weren't blatant, but they were like, "Hey, see, that's what you do." Like you say, "Yeah, man, if it's anything else, hit me up. We'll make it right."
Right. It's making it wrong or right. And that's when the guy, I like when the fucking truck driver looked and say, he said, "If you lucky your daddy here," or he said some shit to my, "I'll be all on your ass," or something. Something said to him. Basically told little nigga, "I'll fuck you up in one for what he thought was his father at the point. So, and then that really pissed him off. And, that was another good teacher moment when he came in there and he was spazzing on him. And he was letting him know, like, "Listen, man, you did that to get at me. And that man almost didn't make it home to his family. You could have fucking killed that man doing that dumb shit." You know what I mean? Yep. And that was a lesson. And that kid even kind of conceded to that, like, "I didn't think of that." Yeah. Uh-huh. And then that's when he pushed him back in the bathroom. And, and then it had to get humbling again. Like, he had such a strong movement going. And then it turns into the kid back to his brown belt shit, talking shit. "Put your hand on me again," gets into his fucking gi stance. He's fucking, he's ready. And he goes, "Whatever. I took shots," and he tells him to take a shot on him, right?
He teaches him to like close his fist and actually throw a punch.
He said, "Yeah, okay, right. Here, now you take all that other stuff down like a man, right? Now go ahead and take a shot." And he fucking nails him and fucking knocks him out. Yeah. And the kid was scared and ran and hid in the bathroom. But still the guy fucking sitting with his head, that stance at, with his fucking like a ostrich in the sand.
Yep. So what after that they hopped on the bus. Right.
After that, now they're without a car.
Yep.
And did they go straight to the bus, or they were he had him outside because now he's outside with a sign. Wasn't at that time?
Was that what was it? The homebound hookers first before the bus? I thought it was the bus quick, and then
it was the bus.
Because it was the bus. But either way, we can skip quick past.
Yeah, no. The bus. No, the bus was vital because that's when there was a lesson again on that bus for that kid. It was on that. So now they're on the bus. You know what I mean? They go to the next location, and there's there he goes again being a little jackass on the bus. Mm-hmm. He looks at the two guys that are fucking
playing music, hanging
on the bus. They got their music going, and he looks over to them. "Excuse me, does that have to be so loud?" Mm-hmm. So the guy turns it off. They're kind of like older little teenagers, kind of look. They probably were supposed to play teenagers, even though he looked like he was older. Yeah, I think that was the vibe they were going for. So then he starts saying, "Oh, pay a lot for those shoes, huh? Where you get those shoes at?" He said, "Oh, on credit."
I charged him.
I charged it. Like, oh. He said, "Yeah, my friend really wants those shoes." Like, nah, he really wants those shoes. And it just, you didn't see, and then they panned to the next shot was the kid getting off the bus with a different pair of shoes.
Yeah, with some bowling shoes on.
With some fucking penguin bowling shoes on.
Yep.
Which was a good valuable lesson in there. Mr. Brown Belt didn't really stand up for himself there to the two bigger guys.
Yep.
Thugged him for his shoes down. Then I think from there they went to the Yeah,
I think
that's when
that's when they had the sign outside, and Dutch was teaching them how to look,
pathetic.
desperate and look pathetic.
Right.
Yep.
Which was
And
a great scene. That was a great
hell
fucking
yeah,
scene.
teaching them how to make the cry face and all that. And the entire time he's teaching them, these two, ladies of the night are watching over there, and so they put their hand up and they're like, "Hey, come on, get a ride with us." And so they hop in the car. Things are a little bit steamy,
Right.
and you
Well,
can tell that they're
right before they hopped in, because I think there was a point, we don't forget about the sit down, because it was a real vital thing there, the sit down at the diner, because that's when he told them, you know what I mean, that's when he struck the deal about not calling mom. And with the
Oh yeah, because
he
you're
told him he
right.
only
There were a couple diner scenes.
he told him he only had $20 left. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? He said, all I got is $20 left, and you know what I mean? Da, da, da. So,
Because that's where he eats and he doesn't. Remember? Because he's
right.
just like,
That was right. That was
I could
epic.
teach you
So
something. Yeah.
right.
I
So
could pay for my meal.
the kid was talking mad shit. That was a good, yeah, we can't fight past that, because that was great.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's doing all this and that, and he's trying to hold leverage on him. I'll tell mom and this and that. So now he's trying to like saying call to get money or else this and that. I'll tell this and tell that, And that's what he hit him when he's like, well, there's one thing I could do that you can't. He goes, pay for my breakfast.
Yep.
And actually, like you said, you would think that that's a thing to make a kid think, and then most of the time people, they do it anyways. No, the nigga put down food in front of him,
Uh-huh.
and they panned to him being outside with the burp and the toothpick.
Yep.
And the kid got that nasty fucking the burp
That
breath.
bacon burp.
Yeah, he's better than that bacon burp.
Yep.
He said, "Oh, your water looked pretty tasty."
Yes.
I was like, "Whoa,
Lesson.
that was another one." Listen, kid, I'm fucking, I ain't the one.
Yep.
You be all right. You better start talking nice. You want to eat again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's when then that led to them being
Yeah.
outside.
They're making the sign and being picked
Right.
up by the hookers.
Right. So now they're, they just spent his little money for breakfast. Now he's like, oh, look pathetic. He's trying to teach him how to look pathetic, and they're doing all these weird faces, and the kids doing this, fucking around doing that. And then the two girls in their little Corvette or whatever, like, hey, you guys need a ride?
Mm-hmm.
But I love the part too when he goes, all right, son, all right. Next he goes, not too fast, not too slow either. Just
Yep.
not too eager, not too slow. You know what I mean? It's like, because I laugh because I feel like when people are in character that are bullshitting out there in the streets, that are trying to get things out of people and pretending to be, like, I feel like that's what's going on in their head. You know what I'm saying? Like when they're like, oh, hey man, you need a couple of hours. It's like, I don't want to run to the money, but like, not too slow, not too eager, because I don't want to make them wait there forever. While I take my time, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm a fucking animal. So let me just kind of, like, I feel like that's their process. What he did right there is exactly what somebody who's fucking approaching people with shit like that.
Yeah.
Going on in their head, like, not too fast, slow it down, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't scare these niggas. They need you. You need what they got, or you want what they got. That's it. So now, two young girls, they got the hot blonde and the other one in the back. The ginger, maybe she was, or brown.
The classic. It was the blonde and brunette thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Blonde and brunette, so they're all being nice and they're talking about what's what and where they're heading to, and he explains where they're going. And then the kid's in the back with the brunette. He's up front with the blonde or whatever. And then he asks them what they do, and then they start like giggling and shit. And he goes, "Oh, I thought we were just having a conversation. I don't want to offend." And then she tells him she did a call girl. You know what I mean?
Ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night, the call girl. And then he's like, oh, and then he's like, she goes, well, I didn't want to say prostitute in front of your son. They're pretending to be dad and son.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think little man was even more intrigued back there now. Like, oh shit, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, what? Yeah, what? You do what? So he's in the back having a good old time. Al's up there, and I think it kind of flashes to him. Her in the back, he falls asleep, and Brunette's in the back having a little heart to heart with little dude.
Yep.
About his problems and talking him through some shit. You know what I mean? And not for nothing. For her to go down the path she's at, that's some shit she relates to, because I'm pretty sure she has some fucked up parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? More times than not, that's usually how those stories are for people that go down that path. Usually,
Yep.
So she had a little heart to heart with dude in the back seat or whatever, and say he's digging her vibe, feeling all, she's cute, still looking at her, giggling and all the other shit. And the homegirl in the front sees her opportunity. Now she's kind of staking the dude, and she sees old Dutch's wallet creeping out, which is a funny scene because now she bags the wallet. You know what I'm saying? Why he don't know what's going on, and then she notices his pinky ring that he always fucked with. He adjusted when he threatened him earlier in the movie with it about he said he said why you come with me? He said because the last guy who hit me in the face like that is fucking. There was a comment. I forgot what the quote was. But that was a funny line he had said there. Shit, I should have put it. You know what I mean? He said he's still not walking right or some shit. But anyways, so now she wants to try to get the ring off him. But the move she tried to do though, when she fucking had the nigga like
the lotion,
it's like right. No, before the lotion, like had him lean to lay on her. You know what I'm saying? So she can get that arm across. And she's fucking like staring with her knee, like well thought out how this would work. She's trying to stare with her knee, trying to get this fucking pinky ring off him because it's stuck up there. The lotion, she tries to get the squeeze out of there, and it ejects into my man sleeping Dutch's mouth.
A Dutch oven.
Give him that Dutch. So then he's like didn't really wake up from the shit, but kind of did that half awake and made the faces like, what the fuck is in my mouth? He had lotion in his mouth, which I think is hard to sleep through. I'm pretty sure he was gonna wake up. That was a good
That'd
squirt.
be tough. Yeah.
That was a good squirt. So I don't think she didn't get the ring off him.
No.
Needless to say. So now they come to their first stop to get gas. And as they pull in, the scene is Dutch is still kind of sleeping. He's waking up now. And in the back, the brunette is knocked out and homeboy is sleeping on her with his head on the breastises. You know what I'm saying?
The natural pillow. The natural pillow.
The natural comfort of life. Just slobber knocking him because left a pool of drool.
He was comfortable. He let it all flow out.
Yep. I might have done that before in the past, I'm sure. Just lay that pool right there all on you. And breasts, you know what I'm saying? The breasts. You can clean it up. Here's a towel. So they wake up, all right, they're all there. And so she's trying to get them to go. She's like, all right, go inside, boom, 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 get directions for us. Oh, yeah, we could do that. And all right, we get some eat. Go ahead, yeah, we're coming. We'll meet you in there. And so now he's all lover boy, like, I want to wait for Brooke. You know what I mean? She's like, oh, you just go ahead in there, cutie. I'll be right in there. I'm just gonna grab something or whatever. So I'm laughing at him jumping in the background, like fucking kicking his heels, like, yo, I think that's gonna be my first one. I'm gonna lose my virginity too. So he's kicking his heels and shit. And so then they're sitting at the dinner table, and he's trying to educate. Hey, those two girls, you gotta watch out for them. He's kind of telling them what they do. You gotta watch them. That. He's like, she's not like that. She wouldn't do me like that. She's different.
I know her. I know her. You do.
Right. And then they look outside and the truck moves out the way and they're gone.
It's gone.
With the nigga's luggage. And he had in his
wallet.
And his wallet that she bagged him on.
Yep.
And now this kid's in like, oh, she did. Yeah, man. This is fucking, I'm telling you, man, they fucking ladies of the night, man. You know what I mean? This is what they do. They on the move, man. So then it flashes to that moment with them. Now I'm trying to think where they went from there because I think
from there they hopped in the back of a a tractor trailer that had like a circular type of concrete thing on it, and they were stowaways. So then they made it down the road, undetermined amount of miles. Then they end up in the tow yard, like maybe not the tow yard, but wherever they had
the truck yard. It was like a truck yard. Yeah.
So then they hop out. They got some beef with the guards, and that was also another weird little situation where the guards throw him out, and then somehow now the kid can beat up adults again. It was fucking weird. It was just
they had to they just want to stretch the comedy. I think in some parts, like we got to give it some good holiday laughter. You know what I'm saying? Let's some like say Home Alone and some people get knocked in the head.
Yeah.
So it's like it was funny because I think they did that. When I think about it, it's like. It was always that one thing that they didn't really take from him. you know, like him being a spoiled ass and this and that, and it's like, oh, he's gonna learn his lesson somewhere. He's gonna learn his lessons and being a spoiled ass. But they didn't take the kick ass from him though a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like
he still put in his time and his energy to earn that brown belt, and he could still defend himself.
He had a little bit to do a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so he actually gave them 2 security guards the business. You know what I mean? Needless to say, they were 2 big out of shape guys that, you know, probably wouldn't have lasted a couple seconds worth of, you know, throwing jabs anyways. So, you know.
But they had the weapon, they had the clubs, and you know,
right? Because they was beating Al Bundy down, they was beating Dutch up. You know what I mean? They was clubbing a nigga down with the fucking nightsticks and shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
and above anything else, what I perceive the scene to be was then you start seeing that Doyle cares about Dutch. You know what I'm saying? Where we're just like, oh, now he caught some feelings. He's trying to defend him now because he did bounce off that fence like it was the ropes in the WWF. He fucking remember that one scene where Doyle like. He's back and he bounces against the fence. Yeah, he comes back with that judo kick. That shit was dope.
That was great. But you know, you see him started slowly bonding with certain things like that. You know what I'm saying?
So from there, they ended up in another restaurant where the kid had a wound on his head, and but they ended up in another snooty restaurant, and that was the I think where Doyle kind of learned once again another teaching moment of see how these people are when they don't think you're one of them. Yes, you are one of them, but right now they just see you as a fucking kid on the street they think you're homeless. They think you're all fucked up.
The same vision you had of those people, you're that's going to be you. That's you looking at those people. Now you're that person that you be looking at like that and talking about. So that was a good moment there. It's like he wouldn't let him get out of here, you people, these road drifters, and then the rich people with the liberal hearts, and like, oh my God, you know, it's those are some good rich people. They sometimes those kind of rich people go too far. I think they do too much, you know, with certain things overcompensate, and it's like, but then I give it to them because they'll do some shit that it's a give a shit with somebody with money. It's like, oh, they actually give a shit, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of those guys, if you're wealthy, you're well off to do, you really don't have to give a shit if you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Because you're good. You don't need nothing.
Yep.
You know. So then they open up their heart where you're going, and we can, well, they made it seem like they're going to give him a ride somewhere great, you know.
They made it seem like they were personally going to help them. Like how they were, and they did in the end. But I feel you. It made it seem like we'll give you like that was about to be the end of the movie of where you going. We'll give you a ride, but then
it was they brought him to a shelter for displaced families. So, but it was like that was almost a moment too. It was like even those good-hearted liberal rich people still didn't go that extra mile that they could have. Kind of almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, you could have put them niggas on a flight, man. But. They're just like, hey, but we got shit to do too. So you can't be mad at them for that either. Like, hey,
exactly.
I ain't have to do nothing but finish eating my food and get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. I could have just looked at you and walked away. So any help is appreciated.
Right. So that was a good hearted thing. They felt they were doing something right. So you got to give them that. Look, hey man, it's a shelter. Check it out. Boom, boom, boom. Look, I think he even offered the guy work or some shit.
Yeah, there was definitely another little transaction in there, but it was it seemed like a relatively nice shelter. Like they got food, and then there was another moment there where they're sitting down to eat their soup and their bread, and the little girl next to Doyle goes to grab his bread, and he slams on the table and says, "That's mine," and then I believe he then gave her half of it or something like that.
Right, you could have it. Even then he tried to fight it like you can have it.
Yeah, but you could tell that it was still. That's what I like too, where they made the distinction of like this character has not flipped 100%, a full 180 to the other side.
Right, he's wavering.
Exactly. He's still there's still that little bit of an asshole in him, which I thought was good. Like I said, they didn't just skip to and now he's all good and everything's great and he's a perfect human being. It was he's still an asshole. It's still going to take a while to kick that shit out of him.
He's a teetering asshole, but he's an asshole.
The teetering asshole.
Oh man, could be the name of this episode. I don't know. Right? But excuse me, let me get a sip of my beverage.
Sip on it. So they're there, and now it's time for bed.
Right.
And Dutch ends up with the bunk bed. And I don't
The
mean two beds in a row. I
bunk.
mean the bed that is bunk. To where the springs keep breaking, he keeps falling through, it keeps making loud ass noise. And you know how
That was a great scene.
whenever there's a moment where everyone is supposed to be super, super, super quiet, and everything besides a moment of silence for something, something always goes wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
To where his bed keeps breaking, and then there's a
It's all
chorus of
eyes on
50
him.
people. Shh, shh.
Right. Obviously, it's not doing it on purpose, but you know,
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
when you're popping up out of your sleep and you don't know what's going on, you're
Uh-huh.
ready to fucking guns fire. Come on, man. We're trying to get
Yep.
some fucking sleep here. And it's just a big open room of cots everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shelter style, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's laid out like that. And, you know, the springs were going on this thing. And then he's laying there. And that's when it, you know, kind of pans to Doyle. Kind of being there, and he's kind of up, and the little girl's there waving at him and saying good night and all that. And he's doing a little hand thing, and her mom is up, you know.
Heart to
And
heart
it's
time.
I know, heart to heart. You know what, man? It's always crazy because I feel like in a lot of those movies they always do that, man. It's they find a very deep rooted, soulful black woman to kind of and she just when she's speaking, it makes it so right.
Well,
But you know,
remember when we were watching the horror documentary about the black horror, black noir, and remember
right.
they'd always said that's one part that the black people always get is the black savior. You know what I
The
mean?
savior, right.
Yeah.
I'm here to help guide you. I'm here to get you guided right.
Uh-huh.
It's like, is that a
The
good or bad thing?
oracle. It's the
Right,
oracle, dog. Come
right.
on.
It's like, oh my God. And or it's like, you know, or the big black strong dude, you don't mess with you beat him. It's, oh no. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's like a fear coming out in weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a ting ting. But you know, it was a good moment. You know, she you know, a little get your little feeling eyes and you know,
Yep.
for the pain she's telling them and you know about your mother and you're gonna be there with her and you gotta have hope and faith and you know and when I look at that stuff too, man, because you know you look at it and you know when you put you know people of color and you know in those roles and stuff like that, when you hear things is like that's a real thing because of you know you think about it, man. When people get treated a certain way, why would they want to go and still be peaceful? Like you know,
Yeah.
I think about it now. Like you try that shit now, man. I'm ready to fucking wild out. Fuck that. You ain't gonna do that to me. You know,
Yep.
that's that kind of personality that's been given. But back then, it had to be almost just a faith having that it's gonna be better in this like
Mm-hmm.
year after year. Like people went their whole lives of never seeing better for
Yep.
generations. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that was that difference between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. One was, you know, turn the other cheek, and one was fuck this, we're
But
fighting back. You know,
right,
and
and I felt both of them. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like Malcolm. You got to feel Malcolm. It's like when you see that shit. It's like, nah, I hear what you're saying, man. He's like, listen, I'm only going like rod for rod, man. This is how you
yep,
coming at me. This is how we coming back. You want
exactly,
peace, we want peace. You want violence, we gonna bring violence too. I'm
yep,
protecting my people by any means necessary. But you know, but nah, it was you know, when you get those moments, I think that kind of just ties into you know me personally when I see those things, and it's just like, you know, man, that just sums up the aura of the people that you
yep,
know were going through shit. It's like, listen, you had to really be humble and have faith to kind of feel like you had to get through when the odds were against you, in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I felt that was fitting to kind of relate to that kid, even though it was a different level. You know what I mean? And it ended up being those are the fucking ones. Now she was telling him the story of her husband. You know, she
mm-hmm.
gave him the story. The hard work man lost his job. That's
Yep.
why they're in the shelter. He's out looking for work, and you know what I mean.
And the key line is we were living out of our car. So it's
Right,
they drop that note of they have a car, they have a car, you know.
right, yep. Living out of a car, they got a car, and that family and that bond, that moment of giving that girl that piece of bread, got
Mm-hmm.
his ass home,
Got his
pretty
ass
much,
home, yeah.
because that
Because
bond was there, and they were
but
the ones that gave him the ride. Yeah,
but also there, and I'll tell you the moment that I didn't like is and he's a young kid, so I understand how it could go, but um at some point he calls Dutch his dad in that.
right. That was a little too much, too far. No, I understood that. I felt that was I felt that was a little stretch too. I was a little bit
Yeah,
of.
yeah. That one where I was like, it's been 2 days. But then so then I'm like, well, maybe that speaks to how emotionally messed up this kid is. To
This kid
where
is that's a feeling of what a
that
father
amount of
is.
love has you saying the word dad after 2 days. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like shit, my you know, my my father's been remarried for, 20 fucking years. Like, that woman will never be mom to me. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that I think that might have showed just how mixed up that kid was, to where
like,
after
hey,
2
Karen,
days, this is them dad.
Right. Karen, you can call me mommy. No, Karen.
Yeah.
We not gonna do that. But I thought that was a weird thing too. Like, he's like, dad. He's like smiling, like,
Yeah. That one seemed like too. I was like, oh, you just went over the line a little bit. But
that was like, that's where you get that one after working on that little nigga for a year or two. You know what I mean? Or even in a movie sense, it could be a half a year. You know what I mean? You got to give me more than 2 days, nigga. That's
For real.
Anything but more than 2 days, maybe a couple weeks. I don't know. That's still a stretch. You know, you need some years into some shit like that where the kid finally breaks and said, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fucking people wait 10 years for that. I've been taking care of this little punk ass nigga for 10 years. And now you won't call me dad.
Yep. Yeah, it's got to be with the shaky voice too. You know what I'm saying? It can't be a confident one. It's got to be the shaky voice.
Right.
It's got to mean something big, But
right, I want quivering lips and fucking snot bubbles, nigga. That's what I'm
saying. So they it's a smash cut from that conversation to the lay down to, hey guys, thank you so much. And once again, they throw in the, hey man, here's my card. I'm gonna talk to the boss. I'm gonna get you some work. You know what I mean? So I thought that was cool too. Where Dutch talks to the gentleman. He's like, man, I know you're hard working, all that other stuff. Like, one hand washes the other. Let's get it.
Yep. Like I said, he was blue collar, but he's a little bit of a higher rung in the blue, where he got a little something where he can, but he goes around and helps out people.
Yep.
I mean, check it out, man. You need a job? Hit me up. And that's that part of what I think too is like it loses ground now. I think with a lot of people, and like more of the youth, and how people are raising the youth, and that almost that appreciation, and hey, you looking out for me, I look out for you now, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not a thing now. Like, somebody, you look out for somebody now or something, they're gonna be like, yeah.
They pretend that they pretend that somehow you owed them that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how it works nowadays.
Well, yeah, this is you're supposed to do, right? Yeah.
Yep. or if you're not in a position to do that, you are now persona non grata. You don't exist anymore. You're a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Instead of the like, all right, well, yeah, it didn't work out. Cool. It's, people feel like they deserve it now, instead of hope for it and, ask bro, even in the way that, like I've said this before, even in the way that people set up questions aren't, yo, can I, blah, blah, blah. It's, yo, you could do that for me. It's like, what?
Right.
What? I don't even know what you just said. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you got $2. Is that your way asking me for it?
Yeah. No, but even it even gets worse than that. It's not like, hey man, can I get some change? It's like, yo, you got some money for me? You know what I mean? It's that, not in that $2 thing. It's like, yo, you got $2 I can have? Like,
yep.
Is that
$2 I can get?
How did you somehow? Yes, there's a question mark at the end of that, but you somehow made it into like a statement versus a question.
Forceful question. Like, I'm trying to force you up out of that. By saying, yo, you like a hypnotizing method. Like, you want to give me that money? You do. No, you do want to give me that money. Like,
and I'm telling you, brother,
want to give you change.
It gets deeper than that, because out of, the embarrassment of somebody asking, and even the way that people formulate their questions, of people will throw out the answer, and they feel like because they've given the answer first, somehow they're not in a position that they were. When anyone will say, yo, can you do that for me? Or nah. The or nah, they somehow feel better because I have suggested no first. So now I've said no first. So if you say no, you're just also saying no. But I said it first. So now I don't feel like, bro, it gets deep in there. Exactly.
That is weird.
It lessens the blow. It's a really weird psyche that people
you can do that or not. You just ask me if I can do it. That's it. You let me do it, yes or no.
But I'm telling you, people feel more comfortable because they've said no first. That if you now say no, they're like, well, I already said it first, so now it doesn't really, like, it's in there, brother. It's
what they're trying to do is like, I really want to ask you this, but I want to plant on you the fact that I'm portraying to you, at least, that I don't care if you say no. But because you're saying it, you do, almost. You know what I mean? It's like, because you're saying it, you do care. You know what I mean? But you're gonna say like, I was just saying it because I don't really care. That's what I said. Well, people, you do that or not?
The biggest thing now is vulnerability, where people don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to come off as vulnerable. Where everybody needs help at some point. But now it's it's weird. We're in such a space now to where being manly isn't okay anymore, but people don't want to look like a bitch. So people are fighting each other now to where they're fighting themselves over how do you act when like you can't be aggressive, you can't have any adrenaline, you can't have any testosterone, but then you also don't, but you also still want to be seen as a man. So it's a weird, catch, dare I say, catch 44 because we're double up on the 22.
Hey, listen, we're hairy, we grunt, our smell is different than hers. It's it's DNA, it's makeup, it's like you said, testosterone. This is all shit that just runs in us, man.
Yeah.
We're humping things with holes in it sometimes. It's almost like it's that kind of that drive that goes. It's like, oh, why does it with you guys? It's like, you ever think that maybe it's just the way the fucking man was built? I don't know. Sometimes it's tough. Not every the guy that's not all guys. Yeah, the nigga that's he's lying to you about it is what it is. The guy you surveyed who didn't tell you he's lying.
Right. No,
pastor got thoughts.
People are just made different, and people need to accept it. But the so then they get back, and the weird fucking part to me is like I've talked before, kissing in movies is always so fucking weird to me. Of what happens is Doyle's dad does end up showing up.
Right.
And
she doesn't know.
He walks through the door, and as soon as he walks through the door, she kisses him. Doyle's mom kisses, and I'm like,
yeah. She opened the door, she hid behind it, and as he walked in, she assumed it was him and just spun the kiss. But at that point, it's like, isn't your son supposed to be with him? So why would you even?
Yeah. But and also like you didn't kiss him in the back of the head. You kissed him on the mouth, you know what I'm saying? So you would then be able to see who you were kissing, and that, like I said, that's always been a weird thing to me in movies and like I said, when somebody kisses someone that doesn't want to be kissed, they're somehow locked in on the tractor beam of like, well, now our lips are touching, so I can't stop what's happening. And it's like, no, you
right.
But
a quick, you might be able to graze my lip before I go. Oh, if you don't really want it to happen, you're gonna go. Whoa, you caught me. But what happened? What happened? What you did?
There's no super glue lock in that once they're because
those always. I know it's like so the door you hid behind it, and then when you felt a body coming, you just ran to him with your eyes closed and your mouth.
Yeah, that's what
happened. It's like, so you just bum rush the nigga with your eyes closed.
Yeah, that was a weird scene to me. I felt like that almost should have been a like almost happened but didn't. It kind of like the
outtake. That should have been taken deleted scene.
No, not a deleted scene, but a like. She goes to kiss him and they go, oh, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that would have made more sense than like, yeah.
And him being sarky, like, oh, don't stop now, baby. You know you still
exactly.
Want me. Leave it with something like that. Like she actually kissed him and now has to fucking look at the guy.
Yep.
It's like, oh God, yeah, baby, you missed me.
So then, Dutch and Doyle knock on the door, and then there's a big moment of he sees that what was that?
The dad, I got it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because he wants to do the big surprise scene of like, I gotta let my son know that I came through for him.
But we have to go back, retrack into the moment before that, where I think he wasn't around somewhere, and the kid made the phone call to dad. He called dad's house just to see, you know what I'm saying? And the lady picked up, and she goes, "Oh, he's sleeping right now," and dad was supposed to be in Europe.
Yep.
So that he just hung up. So when she said, when he was like, who was that? He was like, I don't know, it's a little boy. And his eyes popped open. He was like, oh shit, that was my. He knew it was his son, and that
was my seed.
That's why he fucking flew over there to try to save face and like the good guy now because the gig is up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
good call.
Just I forgot we met. Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. So so now we fast forward back to dad being there, and so now it's like. He's happy to see I'm here. It's daddy. You know what I'm saying? And
he expects a hero's welcome of like, yeah, man, I did show up. I saved the day, all that. I know you like me better than your mom.
He did, right. He said, hey, I canceled my, and he didn't get to that part yet, but he was like, hey, it's me. I'm here to see, I made it. And he kind of just looks at him, you know what I'm saying? And did he say that part before him about the I canceled my plans though? He went to mom first.
It was somewhere in there. Yeah.
I don't know if he like bypassed him and hugged mom first and then said this shit to him. Or I think he said it to him first.
I think he said it to him, and then Doyle gave him the kind of like, all right, son. And then walked by and,
he said, I did call you. He said, you're lying. I called. You weren't even there, And he just went by and went to mom, and and give mom a super duper embrace. You know, and dad was pissed, none less to say, and told her she had to be out by Monday.
Yep. But that was, you know, and that's where now we know how Dutch didn't get his ring stolen, because then they go outside.
I know. And that's how we know the ring was still there, because the ending scene was Dutch. It was just great how they even did it down to the point where, you know, I mean, he's like, "We got to be out on Monday," and you know, he's throwing his jacket on, and you know, he's going to leave, and he goes out, and just Dutch got his hand on the door. You know what I'm saying? He leaves his hand there so gently doesn't. So even when the guy's walking away and behind him, you can see his hand still on the door. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of kept it real natural.
Yeah,
nigga said, you know, kind of trotted up on him, and did he say something to him for it? What was the line? Or he just fucking decked him?
I don't remember the line, but there was something. It might even been like, "Hey man, let me talk to you for a second," and then boom, and he's like, "Well, what about Friday?" And then like I forget. He said,
"Hey, listen," he said, she's gonna need a little more time than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He said, "What?" And then he fucking dinked him in the head with like a punch to the, like a straight fucking noggin shot. You know what I mean? So now he's all fucking, you know, that comedy loopy shit. He's kind of woozy, and you know, he said, "How about Friday?" But he said, "How about 6 months?" You know what I mean? Oh, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah,
you know
and you're going to be more respectful, and you're going to talk to him in a different tone of voice, and all that stuff. Yeah, that was good.
And that's when he said, and then he said that, he said, "Listen, and you're going to, you know, do better with your fucking son." He goes, "Listen, I'm going to be, he's a good kid. He's going to be a good, you know, he's a friend now. You know what I mean? He's a good friend of mine. I'm not his father, and I'm not trying to be, and I never will be. That's your job." You know what I mean? Like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the shit that needs to be said out there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, sometimes you got to come in that situation like, I'm not your dad. I'm not your dad. I'm here.
Yep. You know I'm just trying to be a good role model, you know, someone around in your life. But yeah,
and I can relate to that. So, because I know that vibe. I know that vibe. So, but yeah, he dinked him, dunked him, nigga bounced, and I think we faded the credits from there.
Nah. So then there's one last scene. Then they're back sitting at the table, because
that was the girl. I gotta fucking forget that. I'm sorry.
During the whole movie, Dutch was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get you back for that shot." He's like, "I'm shooting you back with the pellet gun with that head shells coming out of it somehow with noise effects." And then so they're saying, he's like, "Hey man, I got something in my coat for your mom." You know, sends him off to get the coat. So then now he got the drop on him where he had Doyle getting up to go get it, and then he pulls out the gun. And the mom, that was the thing, is I love how confused the mom was, because you would be that confused in a situation.
Right.
Now you're pointing a gun at my child, and everything's okay.
And then
this?
So she's confused, she's scared, and then he goes to put it down, and the Doyle starts laughing. They all start laughing and shit. And then the mom even kind of chuckles like, "Oh, what's the joke? Obviously it's a joke you guys know, but I don't." You know what I'm saying? And then he does the spin move to walk away, and that's when he does the whole concern face, because he knows the nigga pointing the shit back at him. And he had him in the scopes. He had him dead to rights.
And then there was the shot, and then the credits rolled. Yeah.
Right. It's like fade to black, hear the shot, and then roll the credits. You know what I mean? But yeah, all in all, that was a good one, man. Dutch.
That was really good.
We're very unsung hero on the Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I like that.
That was good, man. It was a feel good movie, but also had some bite to it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like sappy. It was
right.
It feel good. It taught you a message.
Right. It was edgy, sappy, but a good edge.
I mean, anything that John Hughes wrote it, and so anything that John Hughes writes is just like fucking, you know, this shit is proper.
Yeah. Forget about it. Nah, that was dope, man. That was dope. And shit, we're gonna keep on going with the train on next week, or what we got popping.
I think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles just makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
I've never seen that. I don't think. I don't remember that.
Same thing. I've seen it. You know.
I think parts of it. It's not one I don't recall killing that one as a kid. I know the name and I know the fame, but
talk to him.
Gotta watch the game now.
But that's another one that I believe John Hughes wrote, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah, he did. But just a quick rundown, and then we'll shut it off. But because John Hughes wrote Dutch as well, I just want to run through some of the movies that John Hughes has written, which is insane. Like, he's written some of the best movies of all time. He wrote National Lampoon's Vacation, Out of Control. Mr. Mom was a funny one. He wrote 16 Candles. He wrote The Breakfast Club. Come on. He wrote
Those are fucking 80s gems right there, man.
Bro, National Lampoon's Europe. He was the best dude in the 80s ever. National Lampoon's European Vacation. He wrote Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Are you kidding me?
They all had that same kind of fucking vibe. I feel like that's probably why they all did, man.
There's that good feeling. Like he gives you that feeling that you couldn't get any. Bro, he wrote Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Uncle Buck. He wrote National Lampoon's
another one.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. He wrote Home Alone. He wrote Dutch. Come on, like I said, bro. He was just.
I've never really. John Hughes.
Yeah, John Hughes, and that's what they always talk about is John Hughes movies. Like you know, you see here, known for Planes, Trains, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day. He just like
all those ones, man. 16 Candles. That's crazy that they all got the fucking same vibe.
Because I watched a documentary back in the day because he was notoriously a shut-in. There was back in the day before he passed away. Rest in peace, John Hughes. Before he passed away, people were like trying to get to him to be like, we don't think you understand what you've done, like how great you are. Of all the movies that you wrote, like that are
there's
classics,
a big cult following behind you. Right. Like, I don't think you understand what you did.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it was. People were trying to get to him on some like, yo, I don't like, we want to show our appreciation. Like, I don't think you understand, like you said, I don't think you understand what you did.
Right. You birthed some careers back then. You painted some iconic filmography, man. You know what I mean?
And you just put classics in people's lives that they'll remember forever. Like, any Sunday morning, fucking a lazy Sunday, if Breakfast Club is on, I'm watching it. Like, it's just there's just good. He just made good shit. So that's why I said to where there was that. I felt that humanity in it, and then I was like, oh, John Hughes wrote it. Yup, that's it. You know, John Hughes definitely wrote Dutch. You know,
close the case.
So dope, for me, I appreciate you bringing it to the table, and that was that's one that I'm gonna try to pass along to maybe like I'm gonna see if my brother's kids have seen it. You know what I mean? Like, yo, watch this shit. You know,
watch Dutch, little niggas. You gonna appreciate that shit. Yeah. Nah, but there was one I saw that I never saw before. That we introduced another. Next down is called. It seemed an interesting one. It was called Who's Cooking. It came out in 2000.
Okay.
I never seen it. It was about like the Thanksgiving movie, Thanksgiving time for different cultures, families.
Nice.
And movie wise, I thought that was dope. You know what I mean? They had like an Asian family, Spanish family, black, white. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. And it was like something like the title would read like how just even differences, they're all still the similarities type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was kind of an interesting one to check out. You know, some names in there, actors wise, I can't think offhand, but it was faces I saw through the trailer. But I'll present that next week's show. Shit. But,
that sounds good for it. So so now we got Planes, Trains, and Automobile, and then we'll watch Who's Cooking after that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sounds good.
Oh, let me give a quick shout out to fucking the best time of when Halloween's all over with. You gotta go hit them sales sometimes. Got out there a little late this year, but how about the his and hers pajama set, bro?
Hello.
You know $3.50 out the door. This is why we do these things, man. So get your holiday shit after it's all over, bro.
For real.
Just wanted to give that little exit of homage to a Halloween in October, because you niggas do right things even when you leave.
True. So yeah, man, if anybody has seen Dutch, if you love Dutch, please leave a comment down below. Tell us about your Dutch experience.
Yeah, man, because at the end of the day, my people,
the beginning of the night.
And watermelon is punky, man. We love you niggas.
Next week, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Meow.